Hello everyone, this is Professora Sidebottom. In this video, we will talk about the subjunctive with verbs of will and influence and the subjunctive with verbs of emotion. Let's start with a short recap of my previous video about the subjunctive. The subjunctive is a grammatical mood, and as a reminder, in order to use the present subjunctive, we must have a main clause and a subordinate clause. We must have in the main clause a verb in the present tense that triggers the present subjunctive. Also, there must be a change in subject in between the two clauses, and the conjunction que must be present in order to connect the main clause to the subordinate clause. And we have here two examples. Yo quiero que los estudiantes hagan su tarea cada día. I want the students to do their homework each day. Obviously, yo quiero, the verb querer, triggers the subjunctive in the second statement. Es importante que las personas hablen una lengua extranjera. It's important for people to speak a foreign language. Now, if there is no change in subject, we use the infinitive instead of the subjunctive, even though there is a verb that would trigger this tense. Yo quiero hacer mi tarea. I want to do my homework. So instead of saying yo quiero que los estudiantes hagan su tarea, I want somebody else to do their homework, in this case the students, I say I want to do my homework. So I want to do it and I will be the one doing it. Es importante hablar una lengua extranjera. It's important to speak a foreign language. Notice that here we maintain the impersonal. It is important to speak. It's still impersonal to impersonal. So we don't have the subjunctive, we have the infinitive. For more information about how to form the subjunctive, please see my previous video called The Present Subjunctive in Spanish. Now let's talk about the subjunctive with verbs of will and influence. In the main clause, we will have a verb of will or influence in the present tense, and the verb in the subordinate clause will be in the subjunctive present. And here are some examples. Necesito que vayas a la tienda por mí. I need you to go to the store for me. Ella prefiere que le hables en español. She prefers that you speak to her in Spanish. Nosotros queremos que ellos vengan a la fiesta. We want them to come to the party. Mi madre insiste en que no fumemos. My mother insists that we do not smoke. Ana desea que el camarero le traiga algo de comer. Ana wants the waiter to bring her something to eat. Now, in all of these statements, as you notice, there is a verb of influence in the present tense. Necesito, prefiere, queremos, insiste. And then there is the que, and the second verb in blue, it's in subjunctive. There is a change in subject as well, because if there is no change in subject, the infinitive will be used instead of the subjunctive, like in the following examples. Necesito ir a la tienda. I need to go to the store. I am the one who needs to go, and I'm the one who's going. No change in subject. Ella prefiere hablar español. She prefers to speak Spanish. She's the one who prefers to speak Spanish, and she's the one speaking Spanish. Nosotros queremos venir a la fiesta. We want to come to the party. Again, we want to come to the party, and we're the one who are coming to the party. Here is a list of common verbs of will and influence. Aconsejar, desear, empeñarse en, importar, insistir en, mandar, necesitar, pedir, preferir, prohibir, querer, recomendar, rogar, sugerir. Notice the verb prohibir is in green. I wanted to point out the fact that it carries a written accent or tilde on all forms except nosotros in present tense. Prohíbo, prohíbes, prohíbe. Prohibimos, prohibís, prohíben. All of these verbs are triggers for the subjunctive. Here are some verbs of will commonly used with the direct object. Dejar, to let or to allow. Hacer, in the sense of to make someone do something. Invitar, to invite. Obligar, to force. And here we have some examples. Ana deja que la mujer pase. Ana lets the woman in. El doctor hace que el paciente deje de fumar. The doctor makes the patient stop smoking. La invito que venga de vacaciones con nosotros. I invite her to come on vacation with us. Lo obligan a que coma verduras. They force him to eat vegetables. Here is a list of verbs commonly used with an indirect object. Aconsejar, advertir, convencer, exigir, impedir, mandar, pedir, permitir, persuadir, prohibir, recomendar, sugerir. And here are some examples. Les aconsejo que estudien mucho. I advise that you study a lot. Les advierto que no salgan. I warn you not to go out. Convenzo a mi amiga que venga conmigo. I convince my friend to come with me. Exigen que se haga justicia. They demand that justice be done. Ella impide que entren al cuarto. She prevents them from entering the room. Mandan que los trabajadores limpien toda la casa. They order the workers to clean the entire house. Ella me pide que tenga paciencia. She asks me to have patience. La guardia nos permite que entremos. The guard allows us to enter. La novia me persuade que venga a la boda. The bride persuades me to come to the wedding. Mi padre nos prohíbe que salgamos tarde. My father forbids us to go out late. La profesora nos recomienda que practiquemos el subjuntivo. The professor recommends that we practice the subjunctive. Ella nos sugiere que vayamos de vacaciones. She suggests that we go on vacation. Next, let's talk about the subjunctive with verbs of emotion. In the main clause, we will have a verb of emotion in the present tense, and the verb in the subordinate clause will be in the subjunctive present. Here are some examples. Me alegro de que ustedes aprendan una lengua extranjera. I'm happy that you learn or are learning a foreign language. Espero que encuentres un trabajo bueno. I hope you can find a good job. Siento que no puedas ir de vacaciones este verano. I'm sorry that you cannot go on vacation this summer. Es triste que haya guerras en el mundo. It's sad that there are wars in the world. Ojalá que ellos saquen buenas notas en sus exámenes. Hopefully they'll get good grades on their exams. Now, if there is no change in subject, the infinitive will be used instead of the subjunctive. Me alegro de aprender una lengua extranjera. I am happy to learn a foreign language. Espero encontrar un trabajo bueno. I hope to find a good job. Siento no poder ir de vacaciones este verano. I'm sorry not to be able to go on vacation this summer. So please notice the difference between the sentences in red and blue and the sentences in green, where in red and blue we have a change in subject where I say I'm happy that you learn versus in green I'm happy that I learn. So if there is no change in subject, we will use the infinitive. Here is a list of common verbs of emotion that trigger the subjunctive. Esperar, lamentar, sentir, temer, tener miedo de. And the examples. Espero que puedas descansar. I hope that you can rest. Lamento que no tengas tiempo para leer. I regret that you don't have time to read. Siento que ella no esté aquí. I'm sorry that she's not here. Temo que sea imposible. I fear that it is impossible. Tengo miedo de que encontremos algo malo aquí. I'm afraid that we will find something bad here. And then we have the gustar and verbs like gustar that trigger the subjunctive. Gustarle a uno, encantarle a uno, enojarle a uno, molestarle a uno, and sorprenderle a uno. And here are the examples. Nos gusta que nuestro equipo favorito gane. We like that our favorite team wins. Or we are pleased that our favorite team wins. Les encanta que ella toque el violín. They are delighted that she is playing the violin. Nos enoja que no nos escuches. It angers us that you are not listening to us. ¿Les molesta que practique piano aquí? Does it bother you that I practice the piano here? Me sorprende que ellos sean tan altos. It surprises me that they are so tall. Here are some impersonal expressions that trigger the subjunctive. Es extraño, es una lástima, es terrible, es ridículo, es triste, and ojalá. Ojalá originally comes from Arabic, and initially it meant may God will it. Nowadays we translate it as hopefully or I hope so. Es extraño que haga frío en el verano. It's strange that it is cold in the summer. Es una lástima que ella no pueda venir. It's a pity that she cannot come. Es terrible que nadie quiera ayudar. It's terrible that nobody wants to help. Es ridículo que nos hagan esperar. It's ridiculous that they're making us wait. Es triste que tengas que trabajar hoy. It's sad that you have to work today. Ojalá que el tiempo mejore. Hopefully the weather will get better. And then we'll have some reflexive verbs that trigger the subjunctive, like alegrarse and avergonzarse. Nos alegramos de que ellos quieran aprender el español. We are happy that they want to learn Spanish. Ellos se avergüenzan de que su familia no hable español. They are ashamed that their family does not speak Spanish. Now let's do a short review of the subjunctive with verbs of will and influence and with verbs of emotion. Number one, we must have a main clause and a subordinate clause in order to use the subjunctive. Number two, the main clause has a verb of will or a verb of emotion in the present indicative that will trigger the present subjunctive. Three, there must be a change in subject between the two clauses. And finally, number four, the conjunction que must be present in order to connect the main clause to the subordinate clause. Like in the examples, quiero que vayas a la universidad, I want you to go to the university, or espero que haga buen tiempo, I hope the weather's going to be good. And if there is no change in subject, the infinitive will be used instead of the subjunctive. Like in the example, quiero ir a la universidad, I want to go to the university. Here there's no change in subject, I want to go and I will go to the university, hence the use of the infinitive. Thank you for your attention. I hope this video helped you understand better the subjunctive and its uses. Hasta la próxima.